Good evening, everyone. Mike Palmer from Know Your Rights Group and Success Coaching International. So on this landmark day, September the 11th, we have a huge amount of information to go through. But first up, in the words of Britney Spears, oops, I did it again. As I've said many times before, unlike our friends at the Herald Sun, I am the first to acknowledge if I've actually made a mistake. And unfortunately, I did make one last week, and I did inadvertently actually end up spreading some misinformation. So as some of you may recall, I recently read out what I believed was a credible update on new driver licensing requirements and testing for the over 60s. And after reading that out on my last video update, I was then actually sent an article by one of our long-term members suggesting that those restrictions had been extended to a curfew between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. That's what was sent through. And once I saw that, I went, ooh, okay, we got a problem, because I know the government loves to overreach, but they're not going to overreach that far. So I knew it made no sense. So I went in, I did a little bit more investigation. I did some thorough investigation, again, unlike our friends at the Herald Sun, and I found out that the the article that I read out was actually AI generated, and it was not accurate. Now, thankfully, I wasn't the only one that was tricked by it, but again, that is no excuse. I absolutely acknowledge and appreciate the fact that people choose to come to this channel as an alternative source of information rather than listening to all the mainstream media rubbish, and as such, I should have investigated that properly before reporting on it. So for that error, I do sincerely apologise to everyone. And just to set the record straight, here is an accurate article regarding some of those reports that were doing the rounds on social media. So it seems like quite a few people were concerned about it. So, entitled Australia-wide driving curfew for over 60s debunked after AI-generated claims cause distress. The WA government has deflated false claims of a nighttime curfew for drivers over the age of 60. It said AI-generated articles, videos and social media posts had been incorrectly stating that an Australia-wide curfew is set to be introduced. This claim is false and completely fabricated, Transport WA said. This fabricated news has been shared extensively online and resulted in distress for those who believe the claims are true. The fake news circulating online includes claims that restrictions would reduce safety risks caused by the slower reaction times, glare sensitivity and fatigue experienced by some motorists over 60, and that the curfews would function between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. Fines between $300 and $700 were even listed as possible penalties for breaches of the made-up curfew. Transport WA urged netizens to verify information about supposedly government-led initiatives by checking official government websites. So there you have it. That is the correction. Now, obviously, I didn't share anything about the curfews because it obviously became apparent at that point that something was wrong. And of course, it certainly wouldn't be unusual for the oh, pardon me, I've got this cough tonight. It wouldn't be unusual for the government to overstep their boundaries, but in this particular instance, they didn't. So I just wanted to clarify that for everybody up front before we move into the substance of tonight's video update. So I have, of course, spoken quite extensively over the past few weeks about the situation regarding Dezi Freeman. And on that point, a quick heads up, I am doing another very, very special bonus video update on Sunday. And that is going to be focused all about Dezi Freeman, the truth about these so-called citizens. So if anybody out there watching this liked the original video that I did a couple of weeks back, the fair, impartial, unbiased one, then you're going to love what I have in store on Sunday night. It is going to reframe things for every single person who watches it, no matter what your current position. I can guarantee you it is going to be groundbreaking and a very, very emotional update. So be sure to tune in on Sunday. But before we get to that, we do need to, of course, address what happened today, September the 11th, and that is, of course, the absolutely disgraceful, brutal assassination of Charlie Kirk in broad daylight at a university meeting in Utah. Now, if you have somehow missed that story because you don't follow the mainstream media, here is an overview of what happened. That's the title of the article if you want to look it up for yourselves. American conservative activist Charlie Kirk shot, killed at university campus event. The suspect behind the assassination of key Donald Trump supporter Charlie Kirk remains at large, with the FBI confirming 2 people previously detained have no current ties to the deadly shooting. Kirk, a controversial figure who founded right-wing youth group Turning Point USA, was speaking at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, around 12:20 on Wednesday US time when he was shot in front of hundreds of people. The 31-year-old father of 2 was conducting a Q&A session from a pop-up tent on campus when the incident occurred, sending thousands of spectators into a panic. Kirk was reportedly shot in the neck, with images online of him sitting on stage apparently being hit. He was rushed by private vehicle to hospital, where he died. In a joint update on Wednesday, the FBI and Utah Public Safety Department said 2 people were taken into custody and released earlier in the day had no connection to the shooting. This is an ongoing investigation and manhunt for the shooter. MSNBC political analyst Matthew Dowd has been fired from the network for his comments about Charlie Kirk following the shooting. Mr. Dowd was slammed after making insensitive comments about the shooting during the network's coverage of the assassination. You can't stop with these sorts of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place, Mr. Dowd said on the network. That's the unfortunate environment we're in. Now, I mean, these are absolutely disgraceful comments for a commentator in the mainstream media to be making about someone. Doesn't matter what his beliefs are. For someone to be shot in broad daylight in public like that is just absolutely unacceptable in every possible way, as are those sorts of comments. So I'm certainly glad to hear that he has been fired, and rest assured we're certainly pursuing similar actions about our good friends at the Herald Sun. Officials believe the shooting was a targeted attack toward one individual with 1 shot fired. 1 shot straight to the neck. Imagine that. Interesting. Utah Governor Spencer Cox called the shooting a political assassination. In a video statement on social media, Mr. Trump, who first confirmed Kirk's death, called the shooting a dark moment for America. I'm filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk at a college campus in Utah, Mr. Trump began in a video shared on Truth Social. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. An assassin trained to silence him with a bullet, but he failed because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before. In a post on X, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wrote, Kirk was murdered for speaking truth and defending freedom. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni called the shooting an atrocious murder and a deep wound for democracy. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer also took to X to share his condolences to Kirk's young family. My thoughts this evening are with the loved ones of Charlie Kirk. It is heartbreaking that a young family has been robbed of a father and a husband, he wrote. We must all be free to debate openly and freely without fear. There's a nice concept. There can be no justification for political violence. Kirk rose to prominence on YouTube and X and became famous for his unapologetic and often boldly stated conservative opinions. So, yes, a shocking situation that has unfolded there in the US today. And again, here we hear of someone that's out there speaking the uncomfortable truth that the system doesn't want out there, and he was clearly taken out by a professional sniper just for speaking out against the system. Now, the only silver lining, if you can call it that, from this very obvious dark cloud is that, as President Trump mentioned, that out of this tragic incident, it's only made Charlie Kirk's voice stronger as a result, of course, just like Dezi Freeman's. Now, some of you might be seeing this and feeling some sort of fear or worry or concern. Those are all absolutely, completely valid responses and reactions. But what I urge you to do is not let those emotions get the better of you, because if you do, then that's how the system wins. We need to keep standing strong. Now, as I've said many times before, the system is in its dying throes. They realise that they can't keep up their lies, their deception, their corruption for really very much longer. And they are trying one last desperate time to silence people. But just like what happened during COVID, those attempts are very quickly backfiring, as these next few articles will categorically prove. So, of course, the other really big international news this week is the fact that people have, of course, been standing up and fighting back in France, and the government there has completely collapsed, as this article reveals. So in case you might have missed this, I urge you to look it up and confirm it for yourselves. Chaos in France as government collapses. France will get its 5th PM in 3 years as the major European nation reels from yet another political crisis, with calls for Emmanuel Macron to go. The government of France has collapsed, with Prime Minister Francois Bayrou ousted from office on Monday after just 9 months in office. It leaves President Emmanuel Macron scrambling yet again to find a successor and plunging the country into a new political crisis. The country is trying to reduce its large national debt, but opposition parties are in no mood to help the government do so. There are calls for Mr. Macron to call new parliamentary elections or even resign and hold a presidential election. But he holds the presidency until 2027 and has shown no sign of leaving or giving up the role. Mr. Bayrou, Mr. Bayrou, the first premier in the history of modern France to be ousted in a confidence vote rather than no confidence vote, will submit his resignation on Tuesday morning, according to a person close to him who's asked not to be named. In the vote at the National Assembly, 364 deputies voted that they had no confidence in the government, while just 194 gave their confidence. Describing the debt pile as life-threatening for France, Mr. Bayrou said his government had put forward a plan so the country could, in a few years, escape the inexorable tide of debt that is submerging it. You have the power to overthrow the government, but not to erase reality, Mr. Bayrou told the MPs in a doomed final bid to save his government before the vote. So big things are happening all around the world, but most importantly from that article, what people need to take away is there is absolute proof that you can, in a democratic society, overthrow the government. So the burning question is, and this is just a question, not a suggestion in any way, shape or form, just a question for everybody, with all of the spiralling debt in this country, especially in the state of Victoria, with the ever-increasing crime rate, all of the censorship, the cost of living increases, should we be considering a similar thing here? As I said, just a question. Now, as this next article details, people in Nepal had also had enough of their government, and in particular the censorship and the social media bans in their country, and they too rose up, stood up for their rights, and forced the government to change their ways. So I know many of you will not have even heard of this story, so again, I urge you to ensure you're aware of it. Young anti-corruption protesters oust Nepal PM Oli. Kathmandu, September 9th, Nepali Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli was forced to resign on Tuesday by angry young anti-corruption protesters who defied a curfew and clashed with police a day after 19 people died in a first day of protests. Sounds very similar to somewhere else, doesn't it? The outrage was sparked by a social media ban which Oli's government lifted after police fired tear gas and rubber bullets at protesters trying to storm Parliament and 100 people were injured alongside the 19 dead. But there was no let-up in the protests on Tuesday, which plunged Nepal into fresh political uncertainty. In view of the adverse situation in the country, I have resigned effective today to facilitate the solution to the problem to help resolve it politically in accordance with the Constitution, Ollie said in his resignation letter. Jubilant youths entered the Parliament complex on hearing that Ollie had resigned, waving their hands and shouting slogans as smoke rose from sections of the building. "We won," one wrote in huge orange letters on the wall of the Parliament building. So, as I said, big things, big changes in particular, going on right around the world. So again, this is just an observation. If they can do it there, then there should be absolutely no reason why we can't do it here, calmly and peacefully, of course. Unless, of course, the majority of the population is actually happy with the direction that this country is now heading, in which case, of course, don't worry about it. Now, if you are worried about it, if you are worried about the direction this country is heading in, then you might want to consider what they've got planned in the UK for this weekend. So I've just cut out the essential bits from this article, as you can see, but you'll get the picture pretty quickly. September 13, London protests. Full route for Tommy Robinson's huge free speech rally through the capital. Two opposing protests will take over London this weekend. This is the route Tommy Robinson's march will take through the capital. This Saturday, September 13, a national demonstration organised by far-right activist Tommy Robinson will take place in London. Here's the full route and travel advice. Promoted as the UK's biggest free speech protest, Robinson has branded his London event as a day to unite the kingdom. So it will be very, very interesting to see what happens in the UK over the course of this weekend. Now, don't forget, that is also fresh off the back of the people in the UK destroying almost all of the city's surveillance cameras and 50,000 people all standing up and refusing to pay their fines. So if you missed some of these articles, that's some of the state of some brand new speed cameras that were installed, and obviously they didn't last very long. And this is a little post entitled "Big Brother Loses His Sight." And as it says, England is on the verge of shutting down the World Economic Forum's 15-minute cities program after almost all the cameras were destroyed and 50,000 people refused to pay the fines. Cameras cannot be protected if the police refuse to take action. The courts are not in a position to convict so many people. Is this not what I've been telling you all on these videos for a long time now, and especially recently? If everybody stands up and fights back, the system will collapse. All city cameras have been destroyed. Cheers to the Blade Runners. This activist group has neutralised 90% of the cameras installed under a zero emission scheme that penalises vehicles that fail to meet standards. Okay, that's what's going on in the UK. Now, again, I want to make it crystal clear for everybody watching this that I do not condone any kind of violence or destruction of property or anything like that. But here's the thing, if 50,000 people all of a sudden next week decided not to pay their fines right here in Australia, what could the system possibly do? Okay? Now, of course, the best thing is to formally and correctly challenge your fines in the right way within the current legal system, rather than just, ignoring them or just choosing not to pay them. And of course, the simplest way to do that is to follow that tried, tested, and proven 3-step process from Chapter 3 of that Aussie Speeding Fines book. If everybody who got a fine for the next week or two just followed that process, sent them letters and filled up the courts, that would be the end of the current court system. As simple as that. That's how easy we can make an impact. Okay, but again, it's important to do it lawfully within the confines of the current legal system. It absolutely can be done. So all of this talk brings us, of course, to the details for this weekend's Australia Unite rallies, which are, of course, on Saturday, the 13th of September. And here are the details for anybody who is interested in going. You've got Brisbane, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, Darwin, Cairns, and Sydney. Okay, they are the venues that you can see. They're the specific gathering places on the right-hand side. And I believe that if you are watching this on Facebook, there should be a link to that page going up in the comments so that everybody's aware of where they can go and attend. Now, again, just to be clear, this is not an anti-immigration rally. Okay, it is an anti-government corruption rally. That's what it's all about. Okay, they're calling for justice and accountability from all levels of government, local, state, and federal. That's what those rallies are about. So, if you want to put an end to the completely out of control and unsustainable level of immigration in this country, that might be one reason to attend. If you want to stop the relentless push towards a cashless society and digital IDs being forced upon us all, then again, that might be another reason you might like to attend. If you want to put a stop to Victorian government wasting $13 million on completely pointless machete bins that will only be used for 3 months and can apparently be broken into with a $9 tool from Bunnings, according to a report that I saw earlier today, again, that might be another reason that you want to attend. And if you get the sense that as bad as it is right now, something even bigger is brewing, then you definitely might want to attend to ensure that doesn't happen. Now, on that point, I want to share with you all a Facebook post that was sent through to me that really resonated with me, and maybe it will with you too. So this is a post all about Mike Bush, the new Victoria Police Commissioner that's been sent over from New Zealand. And this is what it says. Mike Bush, why here, why now? Just got this. Let it sink in for a moment. Why would Mike Bush, retired New Zealand Police Commissioner, suddenly land in Victoria to wrangle chaos? 42 years of policing, retired at 60, Christchurch terror, pandemic ops, then 4 years hush, fading into consultancy, disaster reviews, never hitting the headlines. Now he's dragging 450 officers through the wild to find a ghost, smack in the middle of Victoria's policing crisis. Replace the female chief that pretty much walked out in Feb? Coincidence? Or is the chessboard being set for something big? The job nobody wants. Victoria Police is radioactive. Andrew's lockdown legacy, rubber bullets, lost trust, officers running for the exit. Crime climbs, protests swell, the Desi Freeman manhunt is weeks deep with no end in sight. Who'd take this gig? Not a cushy retirement post, that's for sure. Bush's pattern, crisis, not comfort. Bush's specialty, public messaging, intelligence, mass ops, mosque attacks, COVID, the big emergencies. They call him when the script is changing. Not a headline hog, not a self-promoter, no partner, no kids, no family narrative. The man's a ghost off duty, a rare feat for a top cop. So who brings in a reset engineer with zero local baggage? Someone who knows how to reset gun reform. Who's pulling the strings? The official story, global search, right man for the job. But it's Victoria in crisis, not New York or London. Maybe the latter a little. Is Andrews plugging holes before the next upheaval? Is that what he is doing in China at the moment with Dutton joining them? Is it a Five Eyes nudge, prepping for intelligence resets? Cabinet, IBAC, someone clearing the decks before the mess surfaces? Or is Victoria prepping for something we don't see, bigger than one manhunt? What's really happening? A 450 officer manhunt for one bushman feels more like a display of power than detective work. Bush isn't here to win trust. He's here to clean, contain, and control. Narrative management, not reform. Were they losing the battle for gun laws? The farmers were making too much noise against the tax. The emergency services walking out. The strikes across the country. If they import a crisis architect, what storm are they bracing for? Were hidden connections, like the Porpunka DHS links, exposed? Are police acting above the law, morphing into sovereign citizens? The script's being rewritten in real time, and Bush might be holding the pen. A perplexing food for thought. This wasn't Victoria's ordinary recruitment. Is the public about to witness a much larger operation, spilling secrets and shifting power? Not all my words, but definitely questions to ask. So, something to consider. Now, as I said before, I do have a major update to share with everybody on Sunday regarding Dezi Freeman, details of all of the true sovereign citizens, and some comparisons and perspectives that will truly shock you. So do be sure to tune in for Sunday's video update. I do, however, just want to finish off tonight by reminding everyone to please make sure that you get your submissions in before the 22nd of September, so that's just 11 days time, regarding the inquiry into the eSafety Commissioner's powers, of course the requirement for the age verification and the online safety push. So I'm not going to go through this all again, but that is what you want to look for online. Just plug that into your search engine, Google, whatever. Again, you should find a link going up in the comment section if you're watching this on Facebook. Again, they are the contact details to get your submissions in. All right, so just finally, a very quick reminder, there's just over 1 week left to secure your seat to one of the last remaining tickets to our final webinar for this year's webinar series, which of course is our mock court case webinar. It's on next Sunday, so not this Sunday coming, but next Sunday, the 21st of September. And please do remember that at the time of writing these notes tonight, there's just 9 spots left. That is it. And I dare say they will probably be gone by the end of this weekend. So please don't hesitate to grab one of those spots right now so you don't miss out. There should be a link going up again in the comment section. Otherwise, just go onto our knowyourrightsgroup.com.au, go to seminars, then go to the webinars, and you'll see at the very bottom of the webinars tab. Now, just in case this is the first you've heard about this webinar, this is, as I said, where we're going to go through all of our mock court cases and show you exactly how to run your case in a real courtroom situation. So we'll be showing you exactly how the courts operate, what happens at a contest mention as opposed to a contest hearing. We're going to go through examples of parking fines, speeding fines, unregistered vehicle fines, even debt collectors, should they try and take you to court. We're going to explain sentencing indications, summary dismissals, even raising some new arguments that we haven't touched on in our previous webinar. So whether you're a first timer, never been to court before, and you're scared about going, whether you've been a few times, been railroaded maybe, and you want to know how to make sure that doesn't happen again, or even if you're one of our more advanced members and you're looking for some key strategies and tips on how to make your next trip to the courts even more successful, that is the event for you. We've also got a new PowerPoint presentation that we've just finished putting together that we're going to show you before the start of the actual court cases, and then we've got 6 or 7 really detailed cases, as I said, right from beginner right through to advanced. So you'll see a whole range of different ways that you can run your cases in the court. And of course, just a final reminder about our spring sale. We have decided to extend that until midnight on Sunday night, just to give everyone the opportunity to take advantage of that. So as I said last week, with all the spring weather, means things are going to be a little bit all over the place to make sure all of our viewers are covered for every weather eventuality. We are giving away a free cap, and I've got one here. There we go. Free cap and a free beanie. So it's not one or the other. You actually get both. So no matter what the weather's like, you get one of each for any orders over $100. So whether it's a book or a combo pack or a home study course or CDs, any of our physical products. But again, that's only till midnight on Sunday. So do get in quick if you want to take advantage of that. All right. So finally, as I always do, I'm going to finish off with the latest testimonial from one of our members, and of course go through the latest memes to get people thinking as well. So here is a relatively short and to the point one sent through to the Aussie Speeding Fines guys from Faye, as you can see here. Hi all, I wish to thank you as I had my fine withdrawn. They had to quote due to administration error, but we all know the correct answer there. Again, you all do a tremendous job and we are all grateful. Many thanks, Faye. So again, further proof that if you follow the very simple, tried, tested and proven 3-step process in chapter 3 of that Aussie Speeding Fines book, you absolutely can get those fines withdrawn, and many times it'll happen before you even go to court, as is what happened in that case. So yes, there is an important RIP message regarding Charlie Kirk for today, but the other important message is up at the top there. And this is what it says in case you can't read it. The tyrant dies and his rule is over. The martyr dies and his rule begins. So let's hope that we hear a lot more about Charlie Kirk and a lot more about the points and issues that were important to him, and hopefully it'll wake a lot of people up to those things, because this is what the system doesn't understand. When you take someone like that down, it only makes them bigger and stronger. All right, obviously today being September 11th, we must, of course, include some reference to the Twin Towers. So, as you can see there, the absolute rock-solid construction. And as it says, if you think a plane can cut through this structure like a knife in butter, you seriously lack critical thinking skills and basic common sense. So again, if you want to find out more, if you want to see some of the studies, some of the research, some of the videos and everything that have been done in relation to the whole 9/11 event, just go to our conspiracies page. You should find a link going up in the comments on Facebook, or again, just go to our website, knowyourrightsgroup.com.au, click on conspiracies, and you'll find that there. And there's some fascinating videos that you can go and you can look through, and you can make up your own mind. As I said, we're not here to tell you what did or didn't happen. It's for you to look at the evidence and make your own minds up. Yes, and as I said, I'm going to keep making COVID references as often as possible so that no one ever forgets the stupidity of it all and what they did and what they put us through. So as it says there, how did you know to question their health advice? And he says, well, it all started when I got a ticket for no seatbelt from a guy on a motorcycle. There you have it. Yes, I'm sure many of you watching this, I certainly hope many of you watching this can relate to this one. Because we know what's going on behind the scenes. We know what they're already putting together. So as it says there, a shout out to all my people who already have a negative social credit score in a system that hasn't even been implemented yet. And I'm sure I am right up there for one. Very proudly so. And I'm just going to leave you with this, and this is why the world is revolting at the moment. And I don't mean revolting as in a bad way, I mean as in standing up and fighting back, because these same concepts are going on all around the world, and people have had enough. We now live in a nation where doctors destroy health, lawyers destroy justice, universities destroy knowledge, governments destroy freedom, the press destroys information, and our banks destroy the economy. And people are now finally starting to wake up to that and deciding enough is enough. So I'm sure many of you will be out there on the streets on Saturday at the Australia Unite rallies and helping, hopefully, fingers crossed, to put an end to that. So I'm going to leave things there for tonight. As always, I do urge you to make use of all the various resources that are available to you to please get informed, get fired up, and get proactive. We do need that now more than ever before. As always, these videos are completely free to watch. You find them on our BitChute channel, our YouTube channel, and the videos tab on our Facebook page. As always, please do make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel, and that way you'll get notified of any new videos as and when we upload them. And of course, if anything happens to the website, the YouTube channel will, fingers crossed, still keep running. Pardon me. There's, of course, plenty of information on our website, on the other websites that we recommend. Our radio shows, again, completely free to listen to every Tuesday night between 8 and 10 p.m. There's no live show next week, but we'll be replaying this week's show for anyone who might have missed it. You can join up as a podcast member if you want to go and revisit any of our last 420 shows now over the past 11 years. It's less than $5 a week to join up as a podcast member, so it absolutely is affordable for everyone. Now, of course, if you want to go above and beyond that, we do, of course, have our book, The Essential Step-by-Step Manual for Understanding and Exercising Your Rights, that Aussie Speeding Fines book, which I mentioned before, for challenging all manner of unjust and unlawful fines. And, of course, that Bank Secrets Revealed book, which shares the truth about the fraud the banks commit every single day and shows you their tried, tested and proven system for challenging all unsecured loans. That's your credit cards, personal loans, things like that. So again, you can get these all individually. There's links in the description. You can get them as part of the combo pack. And you do get that tote bag included as a little bonus. Of course, as I said, with the spring sale until midnight Sunday, you also get a free beanie and cap if you order that also. And of course, live events live in-person events are finished, but if you want a recording of one of those 2.5-day live events, we do have our home study course. There's 17 DVDs that you can pop in and pause, rewind, fast forward in the comfort of your own home. There's 3 custom-made workbooks with sections to write notes next to every single slide from every single presentation. And it is a brilliant resource that you'll come back to again and again. We do, of course, as I said, have that mock court cases webinar coming up on the 21st, Sunday the 21st, but again, only 9 tickets left. So do be getting quick for one of those. And of course, make sure you tune in on Sunday night for that very, very special bonus update that I have in store. Otherwise, have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Take care, and I'll talk to you on Sunday.